Welcome back, everybody, to Flick Talk. I am Smarty, and I am with my good friend Jess.
What up?
Heyo. So, first off, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the overwhelmingly positive response to the pilot episode of the podcast. I was very floored by that, and I'm pretty sure Jess was too.
To be fair, I never read the comments.
Good point. But I'm just saying, like, as soon as, like, I didn't expect, like, everyone to be like, do more of this, please, now. And
I did see, like, that you had, like, a lot of views on the YouTube video, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that it was going to be that awesome. Good for us.
I didn't think that at all.
And I was like, well, that's a thing. And then, like, you know, a bunch of people were like, oh, and then I got a Tumblr ask, which was pretty cool, about, like, oh, are you going to do other movies and, like, not talk about wrestling? Because, I mean, wrestling's cool, but, like, can you talk about actual movies since that's what you guys said you were going to do? And I was like, yeah, the reason we did that was because we didn't actually have a movie for the first episode. But, you know, apparently today we do.
Yeah, we literally, okay, just to preface this for the last episode, we were going to talk about movies we were looking forward to and stuff like that on the first episode, give you guys a kind of like a little inside scoop into what movies we like and stuff. And then WrestleMania happened, and we were like, hold the fucking phone, we need to talk about this first, and it'll be fun. And by the way, I didn't tell you about that, and I know we're going to get onto the topic of movies at some point, but I was going to say, did I tell you I'm going to SummerSlam?
Oh, are you really? Where is it being held this year?
The Barclays Center.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't fucking know that. Okay, yeah. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I used to actually live in Brooklyn where the Barclays Center was actually built. And I have never, despite living in Brooklyn for the better part of 2 years, I had never stepped foot in the Barclays Center, like, ever.
Neither have I. So this is going to be some interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait. I hear that the card is supposedly rumored to be good, but then again, like, every time somebody said that, somebody inevitably fucks it up. So I'm basically waiting to see how they fuck that up.
How have things been with you, Jess, since we last kind of met up?
Pretty good, actually. I'm working and doing homework. One of my classes ends this week, so I'm basically, like, scrambling to finish a project for one of my classes, and I have another paper due before I leave for Minneapolis. Yeah.
Very nice.
So, yeah, next week I leave for Atop the Fourth Wall, the movie, so when I come back, when we talk about the Avengers Age of Ultron for that episode... Shit. I'm going to be also talking about all the shenanigans that happened on the Atop the Fourth Wall movie set that I can actually talk about that has nothing to do with the movie.
That'll be fun. You'll be balls deep in, like, all the behind the scenes shit of Boffo the Clown.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for those of you who listened to the last episode, we disclosed that the entire movie is going to be spoken in clown because Boffo the Clown is the main character. And for those of us who don't have any idea what the fuck I'm talking about, please watch Lewis's show.
We're gonna post a link below to his website, and you can check out all the episodes you want there. It's if you're really one of those people who wants to binge watch, you've got a fucking challenge ahead of you.
Because he's got, like, over 300 episodes and counting, and he releases one every single Monday at 10 a.m.
I can't fathom his work ethic on how he does that.
Oh my god, dude. Like, I can tell you a little bit about pre-production in that, like, I can't discuss the movie, but in terms of pre-production, like, every time we would have a Skype meeting or whatever, he'd be like, okay, this, and this. And I'd be like, yeah. And he'd be like, okay, what about this? And I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, okay, good. And, like, his work ethic is incredible. Like, he's got a great giant to-do list, and, like, every single time we have a Skype call, he's like, Jess, I need this, and this. And then you have 2 weeks to do it, and then I will see you in 2 weeks, and we'll talk about this, and this, and also this. Also, I forgot about this, so do this, and then we're good. Jesus Christ, dude.
Like, and I can even attest to his work ethic. Even when we were working on the fabled LA Noire crossover, he was only a cameo in that. And he was like, all right, this is how you would do this. This is how you would do this. And I'm like, I just wanted to point and shoot and say go.
Yeah, he really did that. That was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, that's what we should also talk about, the fabled LA Noir
All
crossover.
right.
We
So,
should talk about this
okay.
because I'm still not clear on what happened.
Yeah,
But
I feel like a total shithead for that whole incident.
well, okay, so this is my part of the story, and then you can tell yours.
That's fine.
My part of the story is basically about a year and a half ago ish. In November of 2013, Smarty and I were at Ven's house when I was still with Kyle, and we were like, let's do an LA Noir review. And I was like, fuck yeah, LA Noir. So we wrote this script, and it wasn't done for MagFest last year, which we probably should have done, but we didn't have a work ethic at that point.
Yeah, because at the time I was working with Mars Girl on the Chrono Trigger thing, and I was like, we'll do 2 videos, and then 2 videos didn't happen.
Right. And then, he came to me in like August of last year and was like, dude, we need to do this. And I was like, okay, sure. So we scripted everything. I got a dress. I bought a dress. I got everything together. We did all these things. We shot the entire thing at MagFest. Literally everything that, except for like even the voiceovers, we said we would shoot later. But like we got all the live shots. We got all the cameos we were supposed to get and all that jazz. Some jerk with a camera was supposed to be in it.
Brad Jones was supposed to be in it. Fucking
Lewis was supposed to be in it.
Vega.
Vega was supposed to be in it. A bunch of other people were supposed to be in it. Like we had all these cameos all set up and planned and everything. And then all of a sudden, I see one day from Smarty's Twitter, oh shit. And I go, oh dear God, what the hell did he do now?
So I got home. And I'm like looking through everything. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start working on this review. No problem whatsoever. I just gotta capture the footage. And how I usually work is I'll take the footage, put it in a dump bin, not a dump bin, but like a bin, which it's basically just labeled footage and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I get ready to start recording, and then I look back into, like, I put in the external hard drive, and I had everything in a Last on the Bandwagon folder. And then I noticed it was empty. And I'm like, hold on, that's not right. So then I go back, unplug the thing, plug it back in, look, it's fucking gone. At that point, I was like, someone is going to find my house and murder me because everything is not where it's supposed to be, and I was freaking the fuck out. And then I came to Jess, and I'm like, Jess, I don't know where the fuck this is. I owe you something huge right now because I don't know what I'm really upset. And
I was like, dude, it's fine. Like, just derps.
Yeah, which we'll have to discuss that after the podcast too. But yeah, I feel so bad about that. That's a thing that we need to eventually, like, maybe unearth if we can.
Rectify.
Yes, without a doubt. But on to something we should be actually discussing
on the podcast called Flick Talk.
For those of you who said the logo looked a little off and looked more like fuck talk, I'm
great.
sorry about that. That is not the podcast we are doing right now.
Although, according to the last episode, technically it was fuck talk.
God fucking damn it. Oh, Jesus
That's
Christ.
why I'm here.
Son of a bitch. So the one movie we wanted to talk about this week mainly is Furious 7.
Oh my god, that fucking movie gave me so many feels.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so how far into the series are you with that?
I actually have seen all of them.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, and also, I just want to give a shout out to Movie Bob. I know he probably doesn't listen to this, but I saw his episode on Furious 7, which I completely agree with, which he basically postulated how Furious 7 has attained the parody.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Like self-parody.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and how it's so over the top, but it actually works, as opposed to like a movie that goes so over the top, like Jaws 3D, but it doesn't really work at all.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, because like, and again, I guess we're gonna go into it. Spoilers. Yeah, all the spoilers
right now.
Literally, in like the last, I guess the final reel of the film has the most like insane sequence of action-related events I have ever seen in a movie. Maybe next to Machete. Like, Machete was the one where I was like, I can't fucking deal.
Fucking Vin Diesel got crushed by a car park.
I know. He gets crushed by a car park, fucking somehow manages to get out of that car park, launches his car out of the car park into a fucking helicopter. Am I right?
Attaches grenades to the fucking helicopter, which then Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson proceeds to blow up said helicopter with the bag of grenades. And then and then Vin Diesel's like, well, I got nothing left. I'm gonna die. So the female character, oh god, what the fuck is her
Michelle
name?
Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez goes, no, bitch, you ain't gonna die on me. And then he doesn't die on her, which was
He's like, he's like, JK.
JK, you guys, I'm Vin Diesel. We're totally gonna make another one.
I don't think they should make another one. That's just me.
I don't either, but I don't know if they actually will or won't, because I mean, technically, the way they reshot it okay, so we got to really talk about Paul Walker. So for those of us who don't know, Paul Walker actually died mid-filming.
He died in a car accident, not related to the film,
but like while they were filming the film, he was in a car accident where he subsequently died of his injuries. And they had to reshoot the film. Like, they had to reshoot parts of the film to include him because he's one of the main parts of the story.
Yeah, of course.
And the other thing is, which I think is great, but also at the same time kind of weird, his brothers were his stand-ins.
Really?
Yeah, his brothers stood in for him, and they CGI'd Paul Walker's face onto his brothers. So, like, that whole ending bit with Vin Diesel and Paul Walker in the cars...
Was that redone?
That was his brother and his CGI'd face. It looked a little weird to me, and I didn't realize it until afterwards. But yeah, I looked it up, and it is actually his brothers were called in to do CGI, and they found a bunch of people who has his same physique to stand in for some of the stuff that they needed more physical activity for.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was his brothers who did it. Now, I want to talk about the ending sequence with Vin Diesel.
Oh my god. That was literally...
all of the feels.
Literally all of the feels, and that was like... And for those of you who haven't seen the film, and you want to, you could skip ahead, but big spoilers.
Yeah, giant motherfucking spoilers.
That entire fucking ending was literally a metaphor or some sort of symbolic form of, like, closure for losing a loved one. That's really what it was.
Yeah, and I really liked that. I really liked what they did with the whole him going off with his family, and then Vin Diesel, like, leaving, and everybody on the team was like, yo, aren't you gonna say bye to his ass? And he's like, no, I don't really need to. And then all of a sudden, like, Paul Walker, like, fucking appears next to Vin Diesel and goes, you ain't gonna say goodbye to me, bitch? And, like, Vin Diesel's like, nah, man, like, we gotta do our thing. And then they, like, rev, and they show the entire montage of the Fast and Furious
like
movies.
Basically an abridged version of, like, here are some of the best moments of, like, meeting everybody.
Yeah, and it was, like, all surrounding, like, Paul Walker and, like, meeting his wife and, you know, all of these cool things, and, like, meeting Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the 5th movie, and, like, all these other things that happened. And then when I fucking lost it was when they drove and all of a sudden the road forked and fucking Paul Walker goes, and the lyrics are like, yeah, so just so you know, this is what happens when you lose somebody. And they follow Paul Walker's car, and I just fucking lost it. Like, I literally started crying.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest, I was about to lose my shit during that like, that part, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the movie. The whole movie was great, and the send-off was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then, like, and then at the very end, like, after all the footage is shown and after you see him drive off, it says "for Paul," and I just started bawling.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, no, don't do this to me, you fucking stupid ass movie. I love you. And I was, like, so sad. It was great, but it was, like, such an emotional send off. And, like, you know, I went with Rap Critic, and you know, him and my friend Ace, the three of us went, and you know, Rap Critic didn't even want to see it with me. He was like, really? You're gonna drive me to a lame ass fucking movie? Really?
Wait, who was the third person you saw it with?
Ace.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he and I were talking about that fucking movie. And he posted the thing on Tumblr, which was like, real thugs cried during this part.
And I was like, you know, and I said after the movie, like, Ace, like, leaned over and he goes, so you still didn't want to see this movie, huh? And, like, Rap Critic was like, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, though. And
yeah.
I was like,
Dwayne Johnson easily was the coolest part of that movie.
Well, not only that, but the best part about him in particular was, even though he's technically a main character, he was not in the film for most of it.
He was like Gary Oldman in The Dark Knight Rises, like when he's in the hospital bed for like a good majority of the film,
yeah.
and like they only cut back to him every now and again.
Yeah, and I'm like sitting there going, well, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fantastic. I cried. I had so much fun.
You know, probably the wise thing we should do is we should actually go through the movie, I think, and kind of like break it down piece by piece.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I hate to say this. You've seen all of the movies. I had the misfortune of only catching like one or two movies in the chunks because I worked in the movie theater for so long.
Okay.
So, I still remember a decent amount. It's just like it's been fragmented over the years. So you're gonna have to clear me in.
Well, the good thing about Furious 7 is that it actually fills in a lot of the blanks.
That's true, yeah, because it kind of keeps you up to speed almost. So where we begin, I remember Jason Statham comes back.
Okay, so I have to tell you this.
Okay, all right.
Every single time we saw Jason Statham in this movie, I literally leaned over to the two of them and said, "Meanwhile, with Jason Statham," because every single time they would cut, it would always be to Jason Statham.
It felt
it would never be to any other person. It would just be them or Jason Statham.
So like they basically cut it as if it was like, I mean, with the exception for the fucking ending, like it felt like they shot him in two different places.
Yeah, they really did.
Okay, I'm so glad I wasn't the like only one who felt like that.
Oh my god, it was the funniest shit. I was like, are you freaking serious? Meanwhile, with Jason Statham. I said to Ace, I was like, eventually I'm going to, actually, you know what? I'm going to tweet him that right now because I told him I was eventually going to tweet him, meanwhile, with Jason Statham. And right now is probably the perfect day.
Pretty much. So starts off with Jason Statham in the hospital, and he's like, "I'm gonna avenge you, brother, for whatever the fuck happened in Furious 6." Okay, you're gonna have to clue me in on that. Basically,
so basically in Furious 6, Jason Statham's brother was like a terrorist, sort of, and like, okay, this is what I love about the Furious 7, the Fast and the Furious franchise. They broke, not only did they break gender roles, but they also broke like terrorism. Now, in Furious 7, they go to the Middle East, but the terrorist is a British dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a white, it's a white dude. It's a white British guy who basically goes, I'm going to bring the biggest fucking game of like gun to the party and nobody's allowed to touch me. And, you know, people are always like saying to me, oh, you know, terrorism, that's a thing. No, fuck you. Fucking Furious 7 broke the lines with terrorism, and I don't care what anybody else says about that.
That was Luke Evans, right? I think that was Luke Evans.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But in Furious 6, what happens is basically there's a terrorist, again, white dude, who like basically threatens the planet, and the team basically has to go and stop him. Guess what happens? They stop him, put him in the hospital, and that's why we have Furious 7, because Jason Statham is like, this is going to be a revenge murder plot.
They're just like, he's just like, brother, I will avenge you. So he blows up a bunch of shit.
Well, first he blows up the hospital where his brother is at. Then he goes, okay, so now let me tell you, the fucking explosion happens within the first 10 minutes of the fucking movie.
No, of course.
And I'm like, as soon as that explosion happened, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be the best movie.
So from that point, we kind of catch up with the team.
We find that Paul Walker is struggling with fatherhood because he wants to be part of the team still, but at the same time, he's all like, baby.
Yeah.
And then we cut to like, the other members of the team who are like doing their own thing. And then we cut to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's working for the government agency like always and going, hey, and okay, I just want to say his partner, Elena, is fucking badass.
Yeah, no, she is fucking rad.
I mean, she's great. I fucking love her. So, they're talking and Elena goes like, don't stay up too late, blah, 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 lol, and leaves. And then all of a sudden he like, he hears something. So he leaves to like, go do the thing, like walk Elena out, all this stuff. Comes back, fucking Jason Statham is sitting there.
Yeah, no, I was gonna be like, how the fuck did you, like, I literally said, I'm like, how the fuck did you even get in here? My issue is, like, he's just sitting there hacking the computer, not minding his own business. I don't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't fucking get it. But he's just like, oh, hang on 1 second. I'm a little busy right now. Fucking pulls out the gun. Oh my god. Then there's huge fight scene between them.
Yeah, which okay, say what you want. Okay, this supports my theory that every stage combatant should go through professional wrestling training.
That would be cool, actually.
Because professional wrestlers, here's the thing, and this is actually why I'm happy we did WrestleMania as the first episode, because now I can actually explain this and not feel like completely out of context.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when a wrestler wrestles, now we all know that it's scripted. But
Yes.
in certain points, they're allowed to improvise.
Yeah.
They are allowed to do certain things. Like, the only things that are really scripted are dialogue, key or signature moves, and how the match finishes. Everything else is pretty much do whatever the fuck. It don't matter. Like, and they practice, like, they rehearse it. They don't, like, they don't fucking just go out there all willy-nilly and, like, they practice eye contact. They practice coordination. They do all of this shit. So the reason why I think stage combatants should go through professional wrestling training is because of those things. They should practice hand-eye coordination. They should be able to look their opponents in the face and, like, telegraph, hey, I'm about to kick you in the penis. And then, like...
I don't think that's usually a wrestling bump that they actually, like, not in the sense...
But in Hollywood films, like, a lot of the bad guys kick the good guy in the penis. Like, that's a thing. So, like... that's why I really like that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had wrestling training and, like, actually knows what the fuck he's doing, because when he fights Jason Statham, it actually looks more fluid from Rock's point of view. Whereas Jason Statham looked a little bit more, like, stilted, but The Rock looked much more fluid in all of his fights compared to the others. Like, he really did. Well, except for Ronda Rousey, but we'll get to her.
Okay.
Which explains why she was there at WrestleMania. Oh my god,
was
I
she?
forgot that.
Wait, she was in fucking... that was her?
She was the security girl.
Yeah, okay. I was sitting there the entire time watching it. I'm like, is that Ronda Rousey?
I was thinking the entire time, too, like, when I was watching WrestleMania, I was like, okay, I know who Ronda Rousey is, but what the fuck is she doing with The Rock? This does not make sense to me, like, in the outside.
I know.
World. And then all of a sudden I put it together during Furious 7. I was like, that's fucking Ronda Rousey. What the hell? Even Ace was like, dude, that's Ronda Rousey. I was like,
fucking
that's why they were fucking together at WrestleMania.
Fucking 6 degrees of Fast and Furious right now.
I know, seriously.
That's the next movie, by the way. 6 Degrees of Fast
and Furious.
Oh, God. So
after the big, brilliant fight, Elena comes back in to assist The Rock because hell to the fuck yeah. And she basically, Jason Statham is like, well, fuck that noise. Throws a fucking grenade, and Rock saves Elena by falling onto a car.
Did you, before we get to that point, did you mark out when he rock bottomed Statham?
Jason Statham? Oh my god, yes I did.
I was like, are you shitting me right now?
I was like, when he rock bottomed him, I was like, oh my god, you were the greatest person.
So also that's that moment where he goes, where they both like hit the car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That moment to me, I'm like, this is where it's starting to get self-parody. Like that was the exact moment where I'm like, if The Rock can withstand this, we know where this is going.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's okay though, because The Rock is cool, and I have no problems with The Rock doing anything ever. So
yeah,
fuck it.
So from there, The Rock goes into the hospital.
And basically writes himself out of the movie for like everything but the climax. But
pretty much, he sits in. He basically he's the bench warmer at that point, and he fucking He sits out and is like, "All right, Vin, just letting you know, this is the guy who did it. Go."
Yeah, he even says like officially and unofficially, which I think was great. And then so Vin Diesel decides to go get the team together,
Yeah.
So we cut to Paul Walker and his kid, and like, him adjusting to fatherhood and all that. And Vin Diesel catches up with Paul Walker and his wife at the house, and then Jason Statham fucking calls him from Tokyo and goes, "Hey, by the way, package on your doorstep is actually a bomb." And fucking, okay, now I gotta say that this was a great bit of acting from Paul Walker. Now, I'm not a parent, but based on some of the shit I've seen my parents do for me, the fact that he closed the van door against Jack to protect the kid from
Yeah.
the explosion, that is so what a parent would
Yeah,
do.
he's like,
Either
fuck
that,
myself, just the parent, or just the fucking kid's
yeah,
he's gonna live.
yeah, either that or he would have shielded the kid from it with his body and said, fuck it. But I think that, given that Paul Walker's character background is cars, like he would know, okay, being in a steel trap is bad, but being exploded is a lot worse.
Yeah, no, that was one of the main things I noticed. That, along with, like, he just kind of, you just see him up against the fucking door, even though, like, the
Yeah.
door's closed. He's like, I got this.
Yeah, and it was great. It was perfect, and I actually was like, that's not a parody. That's actually something that would fucking happen.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like if a kid got like into that kind of shit, like his parents would be like, "Yeah, motherfucker, you ain't going nowhere."
I felt bad about this, but, like, I kind of chuckled a little bit about, like, when they took him out of the car and it's supposed to be, like, this dramatic moment. The kid's
Yeah.
face is just blank.
Yeah.
I'm like, they need a better child actor.
They really did need a better child actor for that, but I was like, you know what? I can forgive it because so far the movie has been pretty good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I could be like that guy, but I'm not going to be because, I fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson can do no wrong to me. So I'm just like, between Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Oh yeah, that's the other joke we kept making during the show, during the theater, in the theater. We kept saying how Vin Diesel is a poor man's Samoan.
Wait, excuse me?
Okay, so like Vin Diesel tries to do everything The Rock usually does in real life by himself, and for the most part he succeeds, but Dwayne The Rock Johnson just does it so much better. So,
All right. Even though he's like got movies like all the movies he's done are really hit or miss, but really I think he's done like Furious the Furious movies. They've been sort of where he's at.
Yeah, but Dwayne The Rock Johnson is so much more versatile in terms of like actual like things that he can actually do. Like he did the fucking Tooth Fairy movie. Let's be real here.
Yeah, no, that's the one where you're just like, really, fucker did that?
Yeah, and you're like, way to jump the shark, Dwayne. Way to jump the shark.
So, from there, he gets the family into like a safe house sort of thing.
In fucking the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, okay, so that's like those are some connections he's got.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's like a fucking billionaire from the last 6 movies. So.
Oh yeah, no. He's
yeah, they were like, by the way, we're just gonna put you in the Dominican Republic. It ain't no thing. It's cool.
And they don't question it one fucking bit.
No, they don't. And I was like, guys, you don't think this is a little weird and surreal? Like, come on.
From there they go. I think who was the guy that they like? Wait, I might be skipping a little bit.
I don't know. Where are you? What are you actually talking about?
From that point, before they meet the guy who like sets them up with the God's Eye.
Oh, before Kurt Russell enters the movie?
Was that Kurt Russell?
That was Kurt Russell.
Holy fucking shit! I didn't. That was. Oh god, that's awesome.
That was Kurt Russell.
That's weird.
Kurt Russell was in that movie, and people were saying to me, they're like, Kurt Russell was in that movie, and I'm like, yeah, that was fucking Kurt Russell. How did you not know that?
Fucking Jack Burton just sitting right there. I didn't even realize it was him.
Oh yeah, okay, so basically they have the head-on collision game of chicken.
Yeah.
Jason Statham and Vin Diesel. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kurt Russell shows up and
with
goes, hey.
With the super SWAT men.
Yeah, and goes and informs Vin Diesel that if he helps get the God's Eye computer hacking program that can use digital devices to any digital device on the planet that can track one fucking specific person and save its creator, a dude named, we originally think it's a dude named Ramsey.
But it is not.
It is not. From the bad guys' men.
Right.
And Dom goes, all right, fine, I'll help you because you'll give me the God's Eye to track Shaw, the Jason Statham, who I refuse to call him anything else but Jason Statham.
Meanwhile, Jason Statham.
Pretty much. Meanwhile, with Jason Statham. So they're like, all right, and then Mia makes Brian, Paul Walker's character, promise that he's going to come back and raise their son full time, and that this is the last job that he'll ever do. Blah blah blah. And then we get to the fucking airdrop in the Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah, that was
fucking. It was the funniest thing though, because we get to the Caucasus Mountains and it says like all the locations at the bottom where they are, and Ace leans over and he goes, "Is that what Caucasians are named after?" And I'm like, and I kind of looked at him and I was like,
holy shit.
I was like, bitch, please, really?
I was gonna say with that scene, I knew what was gonna happen going in. I knew.
What do you mean?
Like, I knew that I knew they were gonna drop out.
Yeah.
Like, but for some reason, everybody in that movie theater was so shocked. Everyone was so surprised. I'm like, fucking really? It's advertised, people.
I know. I was like, it's in the fucking trailer. I mean, that's a thing that happens.
Yeah. Also, supposedly, it's like, apparently that was like actually done.
What do you mean it was actually done?
Like I don't know if, not all of it, but they actually dropped the fucking cars out of...
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally did that. Yeah. Which I think is like the coolest shit.
I know. I'm like, this is how far we've gotten in film. We're dropping fucking cars out of a fucking airdrop situation.
Well, they did it in Dark Knight Returns too, or The Dark Knight Rises too. They
Yeah, they did. Okay.
I mean, like, it's not new technology, but like a lot of people hated The Dark Knight Rises. From my, like, a lot of my friends hated it anyway.
Yeah, no, I could see why. I liked it still, but on second watch, I'm like,
I fucking hated that movie.
I like the trilogy as a whole. I thought the ending could have been way better, but
I think I think The Dark Knight is the perfect villain story, actually.
The Dark Knight, the second one?
Yeah, the second one, the one with Joker.
Yeah, of course.
It's the perfect villain story.
It is.
It's not about the hero in that, and people keep telling me, they're like, oh no, it's about Batman. I'm like, no, it's about Joker. Let's be real here.
Yeah. So from then on,
Okay, so then, what happens is, they find Ramsey, who turns out to be a woman, and she goes, well, I don't have the thing that contains the God's Eye anymore. It's a flash drive. So they head to the Middle East, to Abu Dhabi of all places, which is kind of cool. And
basically, yeah.
One of her friends gets all these guys a fucking like invitation to this fucking party in this high-rise building, which was advertised that they were gonna have a fucking car chase through the fucking glass fucking skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay, that's pretty cool, you know? And then so they have this giant thing. Ronda Rousey fights Rodriguez, which was kind of cool.
That was an awesome fight, because I was like sitting there the whole time just watching it, and I'm like, this woman's gonna kill you, Michelle Rodriguez.
I know, right?
How are you still in this?
Yeah, and the team barely escapes alive. Like, really, it was like weird. So they track down Shaw in a remote factory in around Abu Dhabi. And Dom, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and Kurt Russell and Kurt Russell's covert ops unit go to try to capture Shaw, but what's his name? Dejan Hansu? Is that his name?
Dejan Hansu? Which one?
He's the black guy, the black villain.
Yeah, he was in Guardians.
He was also in Blood Diamond.
He was in Blood Diamond as well, yeah.
But yeah, he was the dude. He was the bad guy. He was one of the bad guys in Guardians of the Galaxy as well. He's
the guy right in the beginning who is like, who finds Star-Lord in the room.
Yeah, and we find out that they have allied with Jason Statham, and nobody's men are killed, and Kurt Russell gets injured. And he does escape with Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, but the bad guys now have the God's Eye.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I almost screamed out when he got shot, when fucking Kurt Russell got shot, because I just saw him kind of wink and fall to the ground. I'm like, no, he's dead. It was so fucking, like, I would jump the gun on that shit.
Yeah, no, I would too. So they leave the country to go back to LA. So the team goes to LA and to fight Jason Statham and the the bad guys on their home turf because nobody knows Los Angeles like the Fast and Furious crew. So they plan. So Vin Diesel is like, "Yo, I'm gonna confront Jason Statham alone," and Brian and Paul Walker, and the rest of the crew are going to protect Ramsey from the hacker girl from the God's Eye, and basically it's revealed at some point in the film, while they're escaping Abu Dhabi, that if she dies, they cannot get the God's Eye back because she can create a hacking program that hacks the God's Eye and basically shuts it off.
Yeah, that's...
Which, considering it sounds highly improbable, but then you realize that she actually created the program.
Yeah.
So obviously she had a failsafe.
Like, the entire time I'm sitting there like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. How, you know what, she made it, fuck it, I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, let's also preface, for those who are, like, highly critical and highly analytical of, like, film and stuff like that, this is one of those movies you're gonna have to, like, just ride with.
Yeah, you're basically gonna have to go, I literally had to turn off my critic.
Yeah,
like,
no, I hate saying that, but, like, because I know people who are like, I've said that to them before in arguments about shit like Man of Steel, and they're like, don't ever fucking use that term, I hate that. I'm like, oh, okay, that works. Yeah, that's one of those things, like, it's, you have to turn your brain off for this movie to make it, like, enjoyable.
Yeah, okay, and then there's the I totally forgot about the other subplot. The other subplot is Mia, who is Paul Walker's wife. She, at the beginning of the film, she wanted to tell Paul Walker she was pregnant.
Oh my god.
She doesn't do it until, like, right before the climax.
Literally the last few minutes before the actual final reel.
Yeah, and she goes, by the way, I'm pregnant with a girl.
I'm like,
FYI.
bitch, you couldn't have said this, like, right as you were leaving.
But the thing is, like, she talked to Vin Diesel about it, so it actually does make sense. Like, subplot-wise, it does make sense why she kept it from him, because she didn't want him to worry about her, and she wanted him to go get these bad guys. Like, she literally did it because she wanted Paul Walker to be happy, which was kind of cool. But at the same time, lady, you could not have picked a worse time to say this.
I know. Literally the worst timing ever.
So, okay, so we have the bad guys tracking Ramsey with this fucking stealth attack vehicle, helicopter, fucking aerial fucking assault shit.
Which, I have to interject here, probably some of the sleuthiest fucking switch-offs I have ever seen when it comes to...
Oh my god, yeah. So the plan,
Jesus Christ!
So the plan that they come up with, which they don't actually, like, they talk about it, but they don't actually reveal it until it's actually in motion, really. The plan that they come up with is that they're going to pass Ramsey along to each of the different drivers.
It's essentially a giant game of keep away. That's really what they're doing.
Yeah, and they're playing keep away with Ramsey, basically, so that she has enough time to hack into God's Eye and shut it down before everybody gets killed.
Pretty much.
So that's basically how they're going to be. You know, and so midway through the fight, the signal tower that Ramsey has been using gets knocked out. So it's up to Paul Walker to go manually up to a different tower and plug in his cell phone with data signal to get Ramsey back online. Now,
that must be the best service provider in the world, by the way.
They better have the best service.
Like, motherfucker better have 4G on this bitch.
Well, first of all, Paul Walker at this point in the franchise is a fucking millionaire. And the other thing is that if he doesn't have the best plan, like, he must have unlimited data, because if he doesn't, like, he is so fucked on his next bill.
He must have, like, Sprint or some shit that cut his bill in half.
Yeah, like, seriously. Or maybe he got a government deal or something with Hobbs, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's character. So, Speaking of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, so Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson sees this shit happening outside of his fucking hospital window and says, fuck this cast, and breaks it off just by flexing his muscles. He breaks the fucking cast off with just his muscles. And at that point, I'm like, I know it's a parody by this point, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, really? Like, you couldn't even, like, just take a knife to it? Like, come on, you guys, really?
Yeah.
So he breaks out of the fucking hospital, destroys the aerial assault vehicle that's pursuing Ramsey by ramming it with a fucking ambulance.
That was amazing.
And that's when he says the cavalry line, where he's basically like, bitch, I am the cavalry. Which I was like, whatever. So by that point, Paul Walker has managed to manually reroute the program signal so Ramsey can successfully complete her hack and regain control of the God's Eye and shut it down, basically. So basically, they all win. And while this is all going on, by the way, Vin Diesel and Jason Statham are having a one-on-one brawl in a car park.
I was like, one of these guys is using, like, literally the worst fucking weapon alive. That fucking half-broken pipe.
Yeah, they were having a drag-out street fight, which was pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
But yeah, so basically, then after the assault helicopter thing is blown up, the bad guys are like, well, we're gonna just attack everybody and destroy the car park. Jason Statham is apprehended after part of the car park collapses on top of him, and then what Smarty mentioned before about the whole getting collapsed into a car park, then launching his vehicle at a helicopter with him still in it, and successfully managing to put a bag of grenades on board before his car lands and crashes into the car park again. And fucking Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson shoots the bag of grenades, destroying the helicopter and killing the bad guys.
I got this.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing with Vin Diesel like saying, "Lol, just kidding, you guys." And oh yeah, the other plot thread is that Rodriguez doesn't remember a lot of the shit that happened in the previous movies, because reasons. It's a little convoluted, but basically, she reveals to Vin Diesel that she regained all her memories because plot convenience, I guess.
Yeah, no, that was one of those things of like they should probably add a little more to it, but they did not.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, anybody listening, if you guys actually know the reason why she actually remembered her memories, maybe we missed that, but I doubt it. Let us know in the comments, because that would be great. Or, shoot us a tweeter.
Shoot us a tweedle.
Tweedle, and let us know.
Shoot us a message if you have any idea. We will figure the shit out.
Yeah, and we'll put it in the next episode and go, by the way, about Furious 7. So anyway, Jason Statham. Meanwhile, with Jason Statham, we see that he's taken into custody, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is like, "Oh yeah, you could try to get out of here if you dig through 38 feet of concrete."
He's like, "You can get out, but I'll beat the shit out of you. Just want you to know that."
Yeah, pretty much. And like when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says he's gonna beat the fuck out of you, you better believe him. So then we get to the ending scene on the beach, where we saw the whole wonderful send-off and
okay. I forgot how curly and frosted tippy fucking his hair was.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, but basically the team acknowledges that Paul Walker is better off retired with his family. And Vin Diesel leaves. They have the whole big send-off thing for Paul, and then credits. Significantly hilarious thing. This is pretty much an all-star cast.
Yeah.
This has Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, fucking Ludacris, the guy from Guardians. Tony Jaa is in this fucking movie.
Tony Jaa, yeah, I forgot about him. He's there too.
Tony Jaa fights Paul Walker on his way to the cell phone tower.
Too slow.
Ronda Rousey, Kurt Russell, Jason Statham, like all these motherfuckers. Luke Evans and Lucas Black reprised their roles from the previous film as Owen Shaw and Sean Boswell, which I don't want to get into that because that's a weird thing.
Who was the one guy who
also fucking Iggy Azalea popped up for some reason.
Yeah, she's there. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you should not be in this movie at all.
But they basically were like, a lot of this took place and they had to like delay filming, but they like at one point they actually put the production on hold indefinitely.
Yeah.
Even though the director, because after Paul Walker died, they're like, well, how the fuck are we going to do this? Because we got to rework the whole fucking movie. And then and then the director later confirmed that the film was not canceled. They were just trying to figure out some shit. So,
Well, yeah, of course. I would obviously take some time to be like, all right, we need to figure this out. How are we going to make this work?
A lot of cool stuff was Initially, a lot of people were afraid that they were going to kill Paul Walker off.
Oh yeah, no, I was so afraid on that. I'm like, they literally aren't going to like when he can't jump off the like when he was jumping off the cliff back onto the car. I'm like, how fucked would it be if like they just made a miss? Like I would be like, no, they can't do that. That would be an awful way to send him off.
Yeah.
Like that, or like just do it off screen. That would be even worse. But I think overall, like if we're gonna be honest, I think that was probably the best way to send him off.
Apparently, according to sources, Paul Walker, there will be an eighth film, but they're trying to figure out.
Sorry, I don't.
Paul Walker's brother is is apparently going to sign on as a new character. Vin Diesel said that he might be doing it, and it might be set in New York, and Kurt Russell might be in it, and Helen Mirren has expressed interest in playing the villain.
That's gonna be interesting.
That would be pretty awesome.
Helen
actually.
Mirren as a villain in a Fast and Furious movie sounds like one of the weirdest combinations I've ever heard of, but I would totally watch that.
I would totally watch
I would totally watch Helen Mirren in a movie like that, but again, I just feel like you're you're kind of stepping on sacred ground in the sense of like Paul isn't there, so you kind of I just feel like
you got to do it justice.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but according to this, as of yesterday, Furious 7 has grossed $147.2 million in North America and $245.1 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $392.2 million.
Damn!
Against a budget of $250 million. So this film is technically a success.
Is it? I was gonna say it's not. Is it breaking even or is it?
No, it's over.
No, it's over. Okay.
They're actually making money off of this movie. So the way that Hollywood basically deems a success or a failure is if you have a budget, if you exceed that, like if you have a set budget. Fast and Furious was $250 million.
Right.
But they shattered that with worldwide with $392.2 million in returns from the box office. That means it's a successful movie. Now, if it was under $250 million in opening weekend, it would be deemed a flop.
Right.
So that's how a little bit about how the Hollywood system works, just a crash course. But switching gears, because haha, Fast and Furious. Friday is a Marvel thing.
All right. I think I know where we're going into now. I am so excited for this, and I think we're definitely going to have to do an overall review of it when it comes out.
Well, not only, like, I think we should do it with Ultron because it might have something leading into Ultron.
This is going to be our Marvel extravaganza, ain't it?
This episode coming up, will be our Marvel's extravaganza.
But if you don't know, the Netflix series Daredevil comes out.
Yeah, and I'm like,
oh my god!
stoked.
And also the fact aren't they going with Man Without Fear on this one, or?
I don't know. I have only seen one trailer.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense of like the Frank Miller run, I think they were going based off that.
Oh, I don't know.
I think Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be awesome as Kingpin.
Yeah, I think so too, actually.
Also, I don't know if you thought the same thing, but when I found out it was Vincent D'Onofrio, I was like, fucking Pyle from Full Metal Jacket?
Oh, no, I didn't think that.
Like, I saw his face, and I'm like, he looks way too familiar, and then I looked up what he did in the past, and then I saw that fucking stare he gives in Full Metal Jacket, and I'm like, holy shit.
I know, but that's gonna be so boss.
I know. Plus, also, I heard that they were talking about possibilities of introducing them into the Avengers sort of universe as well. I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Daredevil does take place in the MCU. That's the reason why it's being brought up. But,
right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that it could potentially happen. But as of right now, I think it should be a standalone series.
Right.
Until they get the Defenders together, because
of course
talks about the fucking Defenders, but whatever.
Well, if you'd like to, would you like to basically explain the Defenders for anyone who is not aware?
Defenders are kind of like a fucking running joke in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
Well, in terms of, well, I mean, I didn't like them when I read them, but actually in the Marvel Universe RPG, which because I'm a nerd, I played. There was a running joke in our RPG group where whenever Wolverine appeared, he would have, because Wolverine is in every fucking comic ever.
Yeah.
He would appear and every time he got a call, he would pull out several fucking phones and figure out which call it was from. And he'd be like, the fucking Defenders, why am I still on that team? And then like throw the phone. And like it was fucking hilarious because I hate the Defenders. Now, there are people who like the Defenders, and I have nothing against Daredevil or Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or any of those guys. Doctor Strange was on it at one point. I don't have problems with the characters themselves, but I think they were much better utilized in the Avengers, in other teams, in other team ups. That's my big thing about the Defenders. Like, if you're gonna have a Defenders, at least have them doing other things besides, whatever the fuck the Avengers are doing.
Right.
That's my basic pet peeve about the Defenders. But if they go the route that I'm hoping they go, it might actually be pretty good. So I'm gonna actually check it out. I might not review it. Like, I might not, like, I mean, I know we'll talk about it, but we probably will have to give me like a couple of weeks because I have to do the movie, thing. But yeah, I can definitely have it done by the next time we meet for Ultron. That shouldn't be an issue.
Oh yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, the other thing is for I will being Daredevil for Superhero Rundown, as a series at some point.
Yeah.
Not right away, because I know that a lot of people are busy and they want to, like, have me do other stuff first. But at some point, I will be reviewing, Daredevil, the Netflix series, and I will be talking about it, and how apparently amazing it is. Hopefully, it is that amazing.
I'm really hoping it's gonna be.
Because if they fuck it up again, you realize that we can never do Daredevil without people thinking, oh God, what the fuck are they gonna do to it now? Yeah,
no, that's like one of the ones I'm very like. This entire fucking character has been. They've got one shot already down with Ben Affleck. Now they're trying to do it with Charlie Cox.
Here's the thing with Ben Affleck, though. It wasn't Ben Affleck's fault.
No, of course it was.
He actually legitimately wanted to do it, and he like loves the character. The problem is the timing wasn't right. So it wasn't, and that's why I fucking hate people who are like, oh, it's all like this person's fault and blah blah blah. No, it's really the studio's fault, because they basically shoved it down people's throats, and people were like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this, and the studio was like, but you really are, aren't you? And everybody was like, no, we're really not.
It's the example with what the fuck is it, Ryan Reynolds and the whole Green Lantern thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like that.
Because like if it wasn't for, if it was really the studios that made the issue more than Ryan Reynolds himself.
Yeah.
So
and we weren't ready for a Green Lantern movie, because let's face it, Green Lantern is kind of a great character, but only if he's in the Justice League.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, he's not a standalone, right? Well, I mean, he can be a standalone. He's not.
He can be a standalone, but it's really difficult to do it.
Yeah, you have to have the right writers and stuff like that to get him down correct.
Yeah. So. And if you don't, it's kind of stupid. So, okay. So, next time we're apparently talking about Ultron.
Yeah, we're building that up, I feel like, because, like, we've been, I'm gonna be honest, I think that is our movie for the year.
I don't know, man.
Well, in the sense of, like, that is the one that I've been waiting to talk about ever since, like, they announced that there was gonna be a second one. And that was even when I mean, when you make $1 billion, I mean, there better be a fucking sequel. Yeah, of course. Like, we knew the moment the credits hit, we're like, okay, second one, when is that happening?
Yeah, pretty much. It was basically like, okay, guys, we totally know this is going to happen, so please announce it, like, right now.
Yeah.
And then they did, and everybody was like, oh my God! And they lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, no,
and here we are, fucking 3 years later, and we're kind of like, okay, now that we're like within spitting distance of the finish line.
Yeah, it's literally that, and then also the fact that we know what's coming in advance. We know the entire phase that's coming out. We know everything about it for the most part. We're just so excited to see how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're fucking getting a finally we're getting a female-led movie, and I'm
Yes.
so happy it's not Black Widow
It's
because
yeah.
I think we've seen enough. Nothing against Scarlett Johansson or her tits, but
Holy shit, Scarlett Johansson. Anyway.
um, nothing against her or her tits, but um, but let's be real here. Um, I would like to not have to worry about her, tits, in another movie because here's the thing about Scarlett Johansson, which not a lot of people know. I mean, she's a great actress. Don't get me wrong, but we already sort of know her backstory, and Joss Whedon already told us that he's going to show her backstory in Age of Ultron. So what's the point of having a fucking Black Widow movie when we're already gonna fucking know everything? I mean, that makes no fucking sense. That's why I'm happy they're going with fucking
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Because
I needed a minute. I was like, who is it again?
I was like, yeah, let's do Captain Marvel. Like, why are we not doing Captain Marvel? Like, why are we making this a big deal? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people were like saying to me, oh, you just don't want Black Widow. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right I don't, because I'm tired of Black Widow. Like, I love Black Widow. I think she's a great character. But
we've seen her so many times that we need something different.
We need fresh blood in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because according to Joss Whedon, an Avenger is going to die. Like, and it's not going to be
like
Coulson because we already went through
in
that.
Ultron or
yeah.
Oh shit!
Somebody is going to die, and we already know it's not going to be Cap because he and Iron Man are doing Civil War. So like those two are pretty much guaranteed safe. Hawkeye's guaranteed safe because he's been confirmed for Civil War as well. But the others are not safe.
I already know. I think I have an idea on who it's gonna be.
Who's your prediction?
My prediction is they haven't said anything about a Hulk movie.
Might be Hulk.
It might be Hulk. Sad as it is, like they should have. I feel like they're gonna go with him.
My prediction is I think this is what's gonna happen. I think that at some point in the film, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are going to realize that Ultron is wrong and join the Avengers, and then one of them is going to die.
That would be a bummer, though, because I would like... well, actually, it makes sense, but it would be a total bummer, because you'd be like, no potential!
Right, exactly. Or my other thing is it's going to be... it's going to be Black Widow.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, you got to think about it. She does say in the Avengers, we never signed on for this. This is like way out of our league. We don't have fucking superpowers. Like, she does say that.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I mean, like, it's kind of, in a way, it could be seen as foreshadowing.
Oh, God.
Which would be really sad because I do love Scarlett Johansson and her tits. But, like, as much as I don't want a Black Widow movie, I don't want Scarlett Johansson to go away as Black Widow.
I feel like next time we meet, we're gonna be on the fucking feels train, and it's gonna be awful.
It's gonna be so bad for all of us, and all the viewers are gonna be, and all the listeners are gonna be like, "Oh my god, are they really doing this right now?" And we're gonna be like, "Listen, bitches, you signed up for this, and you said you wanted more, and we told you even if you did want more, we weren't gonna tell you like to stop listening or whatever, because we're still gonna do this because we don't give a fuck." But whatever. I mean, I kind of like listeners, not gonna lie. But
yeah.
At the same time, I'm kind of like, you guys got to realize that we don't, like, even though we're beholden to you, we're not, like, exactly beholden to you.
So before we actually go, there's one last thing I do need to address.
Uh-oh.
And it's just that it's kind of we're kind of reaching out for a friend here. On April 15th, probably, let's see, I think it's a week from now?
Yeah.
That is a week from now. Okay. The live premiere of our good friend's movie, Farewell Famicom and Writer, is going to be released on Twitch TV/Mars Girl.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I've seen the movie already, and I can easily tell you it was one of my favorite things I've seen in a long time. So
I couldn't see it. I was just so emotional about it. I couldn't do it.
If anyone here has heard about it, A good friend of ours, Justin Carmichael, he passed away last year. This was one of the projects. The Famicom Writer was like a pet project of his he'd been working on for a long time. And in order to kind of give it some closure and stuff like that, Kaylin decided to pick it up and do it justice. And oh my fucking god, she did it justice, guys. It's really good. It's so good.
I've heard that it's amazing to look at, and it's really pretty, and it's great, and it's a great send off and everything.
It's good. So
yeah.
At for my time 9 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. CST, they're gonna release it on the Twitch channel. You can watch it live there, and after that, they're gonna release it on YouTube. If you're interested at all in this, you can check it out there at fkrcompletion.wordpress.com. There's a whole work in progress listing of like when it first started to what it is now. So if you want to go check it out there, I'll post a link below. Sorry, feels train. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be a good while to think about that movie, and just I want to watch it again. Want to see how it turned out now with it being polished and everything. So yeah, with that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Flick Talk.
If you didn't, too bad.
I think that's gonna be the ending catchphrase every time. If you didn't, too bad.
Well, listen here. I'm the sarcasm. If you're on the feels train, I'm on the sarcasm express.
Anyway.
Okay, I really did not expect it to be.
No, that's good. That's good.
I didn't expect that to come out of my mouth.
Anyway, we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about. Well, we won't see you in 2 weeks because I have the movie thing.
Yeah, that's true. But
we'll
Ultron!
See you for Ultron, you guys.